Alrighty, hello, hello. We are back in Flight Simulator 2020, again with the PMDG 737-800. And once again, I still do not have the most updated version of Navigraph, but I know that my go-to route is secure. Everything is still valid and up to date, but doesn't really matter tonight anyway. I'm offline, not going on BATSIM or anything, but it's my go-to. Don't have any viewers yet, just waiting for those suggestions to roll in. But figured maybe if I do get some viewers join in mid-flight while I'm in cruise, they have some questions on, you know, how to fly certain things, or I don't know if they want to learn how to read a sectional chart or read some IFR charts, whatever it might be. Figured you could ask me some questions and I could go on a little bit of a teaching spree. Currently working on CFII in real life, and it's always good to get some practice teaching. Keep in mind, everything I teach you is for the flight simulator and only the flight simulator, but a lot of the things that I do teach you come from real inspirations of real life. So anyway, Boeing 737-800. This time we're flying from Buffalo to Minneapolis. Kind of regret that decision because this would have been a really fun and interesting landing to attempt. The weather in Buffalo is really bad. We have some pretty solid snow and the winds are going off right now. But it'll make for an interesting takeoff anyway. They are right down the runway, those winds, so it's not like we'll deal with any crazy crosswinds or anything, but that gust factor is pretty wide. Winds are in the low 20s and they're gusting about 40 knots, so the gust factor is pretty big, and if we were trying to land in that, it'd be interesting, but I chose the other way around on the wrong day, and that's just how it goes. That's how it's always gone for me. Whoopee. Well, here we are, Buffalo, New York. Let's go ahead and get in the aircraft and get ourselves started. Alright. Here we go. We are once again in a cold and dark cockpit, and we will get ourselves ready for departure. Alright. Cool. So, we're going to start with the... Oops, that's not what I wanted. We're going to start with the overhead panel. We're going to get that battery on, which we can barely see. There we go. Going to get the emergency lights armed. We're going to get the dome lights on dim so I can see once this, once everything comes on. Panel lights are coming up all the way. Let's get those circuit breakers up a little ways as well. Left forward fuel pump is going to come on for the APU when we want it. And we'll throw this switch in APU as well. Verify the gears down. Gears down, speed brakes are up, flap levers are in the up position, thrust levers are back, reverse thrust is stowed. Everything looks good. We can fire up the APU. Let's go ahead and get some panel lights going first. Panel lights. Oop, those are floodlights. Don't want those. Panel lights, there we go. Oop. And I lost track of that. Neato. Alright. Excellent. Alright, APU is going to come on. And we'll wait for that to spool up. Alright, we have that EGT coming up. And we will expect it to drop momentarily. And once it drops and settles, we should get our APU generator bus available to us. We'll flip that on and we will begin our flows. Alright, APU generator is available. Let's go ahead and throw those on. Alright, APU's bleed is coming on. Packs can go to auto for now so the passengers can be comfortable as they load on board. And we'll go up here to the top of the pedestal and we will throw our IRSs in nav mode early so we can get a head start on getting those aligned. They are both aligning and we should get a display telling us how many minutes it takes to align. 8 minutes. Cool. Alright, so let's start with our flows. Flight control position, standby hydraulics, standby spoilers, and all of this is in the guarded position. That's good. Yaw damper can stay off for now. All of our navigation switches are in the normal mode where we want it. Displays, the source is auto, and control panel's normal. Everything looks good there. Fuel pump just left forward for the APU for now. We're looking at our APU generator, and it is indicating positive charge. We are getting positive generation from the APU, which is good. Standby power is guarded, and everything is in the guarded position here. We're good there. Ground power, we're on APU, so we don't need that. Sweet. We'll run down here. Circuit breaker lights, have a couple of those on. Panel lights are up all the way. Cool. Equipment cooling in the normal position. Emergency lights are guarded. Fasten seatbelt signs can come on. Let's test the flight attendant. We do get a chime and ground call. Also get a chime there. Window heats can all come on. It is cold outside, actively snowing. All of our anti-ice can stay off for now. Hydraulic pumps, the engines are on, but the hydraulics are off. The electric hydraulics are off, I should say, which is exactly where I want it. Let's test the cockpit voice recorder. Get a green light. Good. Cabin pressure, everything is fine for now. All the temperature controls are good, indicating about 70 degrees on the cabin temperature right now, which is nice and comfy. Good to go. Recirc fans are on auto, which is fine. Packs are on auto. ISOL valve open. APU bleed on. We can leave the engine bleeds on for now. Not like that's doing anything for us anyway. Alright. Our cruise altitude today is going to be flight level 360, so we're going to put that in the pressurization panel here. Flight level 360, there we go. Our landing altitude at MSP is 842 feet, so we'll go ahead and throw 850 in the board there. Neat. Cabin pressure is automatic. The manual valve we don't need because it's automatic. Logo lights are coming on. All the other lights, nav lights are on, that's fine. Cool. Come up to the upper pedestal here. We'll work our ways around. We'll start over here just to give the right side stuff some time to think. Flap lights work. IRSs are in nav. They are currently aligning. We have 5 minutes for that. Everything up here is set good. Service interphone we don't need. Dome light is where I want it. All of the volume panels up here, mic selectors are good. The engine lights up here are off. Cool. Crew oxygen is above 15. Looks good. We got 3 greens. Gears down. Passenger oxygen is in the normal position and guarded. Flight recorder is normal and guarded. Do some mock airspeed warning. We have both of those. And number 2 is going to take a couple more minutes to come on, which is just fine. Alright. Let's go ahead and run the panel here. We're going to turn the master caution off for now. Everything on here is just where we want it. We'll leave it until our IRSs become aligned. For the airspeed, we'll go ahead and do 160. That typically tends to be the V2 plus 10 rounded up. Heading, we're expecting to take off runway 23 today. The winds are straight down 23, so we're going to set 230 on the heading indicator just as our runway heading. Cool. Cruise altitude, since we're not using ATC or anything of that nature, we're going to go ahead and just go straight to cruise, which is 36,000 feet. Alright, sweet. Autopilot panel is set for now. Looks good. Everything's in the normal position up here. All these tests are just fine. We're testing. Cool. Alright, lights work here. Test the lights. All of the lights light up. Excellent. Cool. N1 set and speed reference in the auto position, exactly where I want it. We'll go ahead and we'll leave the MFD in the engine position so we can monitor our N2 on engine start. Fuel flow is on rate right now. That's fine by me. Auto brake is off, flaps are indicating 0, 3 greens, gears down, lower DU and main panel DU both in normal position, fine by me. Go lower here, panel lights are on. We'll go ahead, since it's dark outside, we'll give ourselves our night vision a little bit of an assist by turning these screens down. Get a little bit of better night vision once we get in the air. And we'll do that on both sides. Like so, and get the standby attitude indicator nice and dim there. Alright, cool. Love it. So we'll go down to the FMC, and now we're going to put our position in it there, our reference airport. We are currently at the Buffalo Airport, Kilo Bravo Uniform Foxtrot. Throw that in there, but we are going to grab our GPS left position data here, set that as our IRS position, let that continue to align. Our origin, KBUF, right here, and we are going to Minneapolis, St. Paul, Kilo, Mike, Sierra, Papa, here, throw that in our destination. Our flight today is going to be Sun Country 1058. We're doing their seasonal route, out of season, sweet. Unable, required navigational performance, that is, again, because the IRSs aren't aligned yet, which is fine. We can deal with that. Let's go to the performance page. Actually, let's do departure and arrival first. So departure, Buffalo departure, we're doing the Buffalo 8 from runway 23, and then we are just going to go direct Wozy and then Nosik. We're probably going to end up getting rid of Wozy just because that waypoint is right on top of the airport, if I remember correctly. So we have our departure selected. Let's go to route, activate, execute, go to next page first, vector to Wozy, like so, and then Nosik, November, Oscar, Sierra, India, Kilo, excellent, and then Cuda, which is the beginning of the Muscle 3. I just had a bit of a brain loss moment. So we're doing the Muscle 3, we're starting at Cuda. We're expecting the ILS 30 left arrival into MSP for now. That's what the flight plan on SimBrief is telling me, so that's what we're going to go with for now. We're going to execute that plan. Now our arrival and our approach is set for us for now. Go back to route. We do have discontinuity, so let's go to our legs page, next page, copy Cuda, previous, and then put that in the empty space. Good. Execute, and then we have another discontinuity. Alright, I was expecting vectors after a certain point, but we'll just throw those in there for now. Odd. Oh, looks like our IRS is just aligned. Yes, they did. Cool. Fine by me. Alright, let's go back to route. We'll go to perfinite. Gross weight, we're going to go with our ramp weight once again, which is 148.9. We're a little bit on the heavier side today. We got a full flight, full passengers, a solid 8,000 pounds of cargo as well, so that's pretty good. Plan fuel, we're just going to leave blank because we already have the fuel in the aircraft. Right now, reserves are 4.1. Cost index, it wants us to run a 39 cost index. Sounds fair enough. We'll run that, 39. Our cruise today is going to be flight level 360. Our top of climb winds are 291 at 1. I'm almost wondering if that's actually a different format. Stand by. I'm going to throw some wind barbs on here. Show wind barbs. And we're going to go up to... That's flight level 340 right there. Oh, okay. So... Interesting. I realize now I've been reading think that I've been reading the top of climb winds wrong the whole time. So our top of climb, we should actually be expecting winds 290 at 101 knots. So I was reading this at winds are out at 291, which was a really specific degree at 01, but I think the 29 is 290 and the 101 is 101 knots. So that's what we're going to run with today. So 290 at 101 knots, because those winds are going crazy, especially the winds aloft. We'll execute that performance, N1 limit. We'll go here. I don't see anything giving us that temperature change, so we're gonna roll with what it has there. Good with me. Takeoff, we're gonna do a flaps 5 takeoff. It's gonna be normal, and we get our V speeds planted for us. Love to see it. Throw the CG trim in there, which is 455. So 455. Before I forget, I'm just gonna throw that in there now. So about 4.5 right there. Looks good to me. Alright, go back to the FMC. And that looks good. We're just going to go back to our route page. Verify all that is exactly where we want it. CUDA, muscle 3, turtle. And then looks like we're just going direct to the ILS, which I might have to vector myself around. That'll be fine. Climb speeds are looking a little high. We'll see if we have to change these once we get up to altitude, because Mach 0.809 is aggressively high, but maybe because the winds are stronger that has something to do with it, I'm not sure. And go to our cruise, and our target speed is 0.809, so we're just going to... We'll monitor, and if anything, we'll just speed intervention and change our cruise speed as we go. Fine by me. Alright, go back to our legs page. We're looking good here. Lower pedestal, we'll just verify everything here. We'll squawk 2000, I guess, just for the realism aspect of it. I forgot to start the plug-in that works my fancy radio here, so we're just going to do it by hand, and TARA for the setting. Everything looks good. Alright, the plane is about set up. We are looking good here. We'll get off of this. Oh yeah, we'll run down this test as well. So we got the Fulton up. We'll let that all show up. Good. Overheat fire test. The bells ring. The lights light up. Good. Engines extension. Cool. Extinguisher tests. Alright, cool. Love it. We are just about set up to go. We're going to get rid of the master cautions yet again. Going to verify of things here. Let's see. The altimeter at Buffalo is... Oh. Now we're winds 24, gusting 44, so they've picked up a little bit. That's kind of intense. Altimeter is 2944. Alright. That is a very low altimeter. That's probably why the winds are so aggressive, is because there's a pretty decent low pressure system just plowing through the area. So we got altimeter set, we got everything else set. Cool. Alright, now we'll go back up here and we'll start getting ourselves ready for push, because we'll just imagine here that our passengers are in fact loaded on board, and we will do what we need to do to get this plane flying. Alright, yaw damper can stay off. Fuel pumps are going to come on. I'm going to verify there's nothing in the center tank. There is just a little bit in the center tank, so why don't we turn the center tank fuel pumps on. There is a low pressure indication, so I might wait until we get in the air to run those pumps. We'll flip this switch to generator 1, so when we flip to the engine generators, we can see if we're getting a positive generation or not. Everything looks good here. Seatbelt signs are on. Emergency lights armed. Probe beats staying on. Anti-ice off. We will keep the hydraulics. We can pressurize the hydraulics now. We'll throw the electric pumps on now. So when we're done, we can do a flight control check. Packs are going to come off. ISOL valve is going to stay open. APU bleed is on. Anti-collision light is coming on. Everything looks good on top here. Stall warning test 2 works. We're going to go ahead and do a quick GPWS test while we are waiting for the jet bridge to disconnect. So let's go to FS actions, push back, get a tug,
wind shear, terrain, pull up.
turn nose to the right, that's good. Okay, GPWS, if I could speak, works just fine. I always forget to set the parking brake when I load into this thing because I forget that for some reason it doesn't load in with the parking brake set. And we'll run the TCAS test real quick while I, remember it and think about it.
TCAS test pass.
Alright, TCAS test pass, cool. Alright, we're ready for push. Let's get her going.
Cockpit to ground.
Oh, you know what?
We've been cleared for pushback and start. They want the tail to our left.
We're gonna close the left door. That'd be a smart thing to do. Almost forgot about the door. Alright, door's closed. Parking brake is off. Yep. I forgot to relinquish the jetway, but that's fine. No harm done. Oh, now it relinquishes after we push? Whatever. That's fine. That should have happened before push, but whatever. Alright. We're looking clear on both sides. Give ourselves a moment. Alright, now we can begin engine start. Engine number 2 is going in ground ignition. N2 is rising. Now I'm going to make sure they don't push me into the fence behind us after I introduce fuel. Alright, 25% N2 introducing fuel. Just going to go outside real quick and make sure they don't push us into the fence, which they might. Ooh, just narrowly avoided it. I love the bass behind these engine starts. Stop the push. Oh, wow. Right up to it. Nice. No damage to aircraft today. And I think we missed our pushback complete call, so let's set the parking brake.
Brake set.
Yep, confirmed. Alright, engine number 2 is good. We have oil pressure, we have an oil temp. Our EGT is in
Alright, steering pin is disconnected. Watch for
the green.
Right on your left.
Everything looks good, alright. Engine number 2, let's go ahead and give that a start. N2 is rising. Alright, 25%. Introduce fuel. Let's pull this speed brake back just a little bit so we can see. Oil pressure is coming up, oil temp is rising, good. N2 is kicking up, EGT is rising, we are looking good there. Alright, stow our speed brake back again. Alright, excellent. We have 2 good starts. Both engines are stable. Looks good. Alright, let's go to the overhead panel and make sure everything's ready for takeoff. God damper's coming on. Cool. We'll run the center tanks just real quick. Let's see if we get anything. No, they're still seeing... Oh, one of them is getting some pressure. We'll keep those off again for now. I don't like it. Cool. So generator 1, excellent. Generators 1 and 2 for the engines are coming on. Engine gens, fasten seatbelt signs on. Probe heat is now coming on. We will use some engine anti-ice, so we'll throw the engine ignitions into continuous. The cowl valve lights up and dims. Cowl valve lights up and dims, so we have anti-ice in the engines. Good. Packs can go to auto. ISOL valve to auto. APU bleed is coming off, and our APU can come off as well. Neato. Oops. Wanted to go to the overhead. Just verify one more time that everything here was good. Should be. Let's go down here. Get set for takeoff. Auto brakes to RTO. Flaps are going to 5. We will pull up our flight controls page and just verify those are correct. Full right aileron, right up, left down, left up, right down, elevator forward, elevator back, and our rudders are good. Flight controls are free and correct. Alright, cool. So we're just about set for takeoff here. Everything looks good. So we'll go back to the overhead panel, turn the dome lights off, and taxi lights can come on. We are ready for taxi, and let's get on the road. Or on the taxiway, I should say. This should be a fun takeoff. You can kind of see the winds on the wind on the side of the screen. The moisture is running across and making it difficult. Nice. Alright, we're ready to go. Alright, and you know what? Since we are no tower or ATC or anything, we're actually going to shoot across Juliet here to get to the runway 23. Juliet crosses 1432 and goes straight to 23. It kind of shortens our taxi a little bit. So let's get our landing lights on and our strobes on and cross an active runway. Even though technically it's not active, but we're looking, we're clear. Cool. It seems like we're fighting an uphill here, so we need some power to get some speed, which is weird. Landing lights are coming off. We crossed the runway. Alright, cool. Now we're on Alpha, and we make our way to runway 23. Keep the taxi speed up just a little bit, not going to speed or anything, keep it under 20 or under on the ground speed, but try and keep it towards 20 so we're not taking forever to get to the runway. Alright, flight directors are coming on both sides. We're going to go ahead and stick to heading select. We'll arm the auto throttle, select N1, level change, I may have done that a little bit wrong. I also don't have a toga button either, so that doesn't help when I'm trying to work the auto throttle. We'll actually keep level change mode off for now. I find that that works kind of strange. If I remember correctly, it was Flight Sim 2024 I was having issues with that, but it's whatever. We'll just prevent the issue from happening here as well, where level change is supposedly armed, but then it doesn't try and maintain that speed, so... Alright, so we're approaching the runway. Our landing lights are coming on. Runway turn-off lights are on. Strobes are on. Wing inspection lights are on because we are going to be in icing conditions. Throughout the climb here, it is snowing quite heavily now, and these winds are intense. So now we're going to put the throttles up to 40. You can see that wind just really carrying. Alright, throttles 40. Engines are stable. Toga.
Live. 80 knots.
Cross check. And these winds are right down the runway, which is good, but they are aggressive, so we'll still keep an eye on it just in case.
Rotate.
Rotate. Just
E2.
nice and slowly pull up.
Positive reincline.
Gear up. And we're already losing visibility of the airport. Alright, now we'll throw a level change mode on. N1 as well. We'll arm auto throttle. Cool. Why? So heading select is not working very well. Okay, let's increase speed to 200 knots. It looks like we're getting back on track here. I'll try and explain what happened there in just a second. So flaps are going to 1. The gear is up, so RTO is going to off. The gear selector can go to off as well. And we'll climb up to 250. Take out the last notch of flaps. And now we're going to go direct to the Nosik waypoint. Like so. Select LNAV and VNAV. Alright. Okay. Alright, so it seems that despite me selecting heading select and level change before takeoff, it almost seems like if you set something before takeoff, it doesn't actually follow that after you're in the air. It's almost like you have to select your autopilot stuff after you've taken off. Me being on heading select and it being selected to 230 and it trying to make a right turn to intercept the course towards Nosik was really just kind of odd, to be honest with you. Not sure what happened there, but now we're climbing normally. Things seem to be steady again. Alright, that's 10,000 feet. Notify the flight attendants. Cool. And landing lights and runway turn-offs and taxi lights can all come off. Alright, nose is pitching down so we can pick up speed. Huh. Very weird behavior by the autopilot after takeoff there. You should be able to just select, you know, heading select and level change on the ground and take off and have your autopilot follow said settings, but I don't think I set anything weird, but I could have. Oh well. Well, we fixed it. We got back on track, and now we are direct to the Nosik waypoint. We're also climbing pretty good now. Very gusty day in Buffalo. I know it was gusty Minneapolis earlier, but not so much anymore. It's gonna calm down for the night, it looks like. So we should be able to land with very minimal wind on the surface. There does seem to be some wind shear at 1200 Zulu, which is going to be about 5 hours from now. So from now until then, we have a chance at wind shear. Just checking. So it seems to be mostly wind speed at 2,000 feet. It goes from 9 knots to 40 knots. The direction is only 20 degrees off. 230 on the surface, 250 at altitude, but we don't think that that's going to happen on our arrival, so we're looking good for now. Now we're just monitoring the climb. Alright, that's flight level 180. Let's get our altimeter to standard, and that is quite the aggressive change because of how low the pressure was in Buffalo. That altimeter reading just shot up like a rocket. So what's intriguing to me is in our VNAV. Now I know we're not in the flight levels yet and the Mach speed has yet to climb high enough, but we're expecting a 0.809er Mach speed in the climb, most likely when we get above 30,000, flight level 300, but that's going to be really aggressive for speed, and it's probably going to be a really slow climb. Given how windy it is at the altitudes we're flying, I'm not convinced that I would want to be at 0.809 because that might put us right on the red bar here, and with the winds the way they are, That could be a sign of some pretty bad turbulence, and you definitely don't want to be riding that red line if you're in bad turbulence. You want to be kind of back on the speed and more towards maneuvering speed. So we'll just kind of monitor as it goes on, and we'll take it from there. And it's very possible I may throw on some speed intervention and just handle the speed myself. Yeah, winds are already 283 at 108 knots. And we still have 10,000 feet to go. Yeah, we are riding that red line, so I'm gonna go ahead and intervene with this. we're going to go ahead and climb at a speed of 0.75, Mach 0.75. One, to get us away from, you know, the overspeed, and two, to increase our climb rate to something that is significantly better than 900 feet per minute. So it would still take quite a while to get to cruise from where we are if we were climbing at 900 feet per minute. 900 feet per minute at 26,000 feet is abnormal in my opinion. So we'll increase that a little bit. We'll make it better for ourselves. The idea might be to try and fight the headwind, but oh, right there, that was an aggressive wind shift right there. If we were still riding the line on the overspeed area here, that could have caused structural damage to the aircraft, even a little bump like that. Could have also been the sim trying to load new data, but we're just going to chalk it up to turbulence. I can't see anything. I'm going to go on the outside view here and see if we can't catch any ice on our wings. I doubt we do, because the friction on a 737's wing is pretty good. Yeah, I'm not seeing any ice. And it looks like we're above the clouds as well, so let's go ahead and turn off the wing inspection. We are good there. And we will continue to climb and continue to monitor as well. Everything's looking good. It does look like fuel went out of our center tank, so that .09er really had no effect on the total fuel whatsoever. Even at Mach 0.75, we're only getting about 1,200 feet per minute on the climb. That's really fun. Slow climbs, amazing. One thing I did not do was the heading sync. Always got to do the heading sync. There you go, about 302. That seems to match. We have almost a straight on headwind, so we are fighting 100 knots of headwind right now. So this flight's probably going to take a little bit longer than expected. Kind of curious what the official flight plan is predicting on time and route. Now we're 59. It's possible that they might change directions or intensity throughout. For the most part, no. However, on the last quarter of the flight, we do start seeing more of a crosswind than we do a headwind. So An hour 59 might be generous. Might be looking at 2 hours 10 minutes, 2 hours 15. Well, I mean, I don't know. The wind just got under 100 knots right there, so it could be different. Let's see. We got 1,000 to go, and we'll see where we're at once we get to our cruise altitude. Kind of curious on the pilot reports. Nothing to report along the route. Got some light turbulence at 32,000, but nothing worse. So when we get to cruise altitude, as long as we're not actively getting bumped around, we can turn off the seatbelt signs. And then just monitor the flight conditions as we go. And if necessary, then turn on seatbelt signs. Alright, we'll level out and see what happens. Alright. Doesn't seem like we're getting tossed or anything. We did have a very slight decrease in the wind speed. Now we're 92 knots when we were almost 110 when we were going through the climb, so we managed to find a lesser pocket of headwind on our way, so maybe this will be a little bit better than planned. But for now, we'll go ahead and turn the fasten seatbelt signs off. We are in cruise, and the outside air temperature is negative 25 degrees Celsius. We're not experiencing any icing, so let's go ahead and turn the engine anti-ice off as well, and then the ignition switches to off, and everything else is just where we want it. Alright, and we'll pick the speed up just a little bit. We'll go Mach 0.78 is safe enough. It gives us a little bit of a buffer between the overspeed and, you know, being able to move a little faster. Yeah, 0.78. It's as fast as I want to go without getting too close to the overspeed. That's what we're going to do. Alright, so we're just going to sit back, relax. It's going to be a relatively long cruise, so we'll sit back and enjoy that very much. And if anyone joins in and has any flying related questions, any pilot related questions, anything at all, feel free to ask me. I will gladly answer them, try and maybe teach you a lesson or something, who knows. I'll be here. Alright, descent is coming up. We're about 30 miles from top of descent. We're going to descend when that top of descent hits about 20 to 25 miles away from where we are, because I like when this plane doesn't exceed 250 knots, below 10,000, but if you do it too early, like when you do the normal start descending at 40 nautical miles out, on this particular arrival, I've found that it's too early, and you end up meeting a restriction, an altitude restriction early, and it's not a consistent descent. So we're going to wait just a couple more miles before we start the top of descent, and then by the time we get on the arrival, we should be able to just we should be able to descend smoothly and not have to stop descending because we meet an altitude restriction. So that's the plan. Let's go to our descent page here. Descent target speed is Mach 0.7903. 283 knots, cool. Speed restriction is put into place. I don't mind that, that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and hit descend now that we're just over 20 miles from that top of descent. And we'll let it descend as it wants to, and then we will get set up for the 30 left approach. Alright, so the ILS 30 left approach, let's begin. The ILS frequency is 110.3. So we're putting that in both nav frequencies here. 110.3, make it active. Again, 110.3, make it active. Excellent. Now we'll come up here. The approach course is next. The approach course is 301. So let's go ahead and put that on both sides. Oh, way too much. My bad. 301. Excellent. And we have the speed intervention going on here. Let's go ahead and actually shut that off for now. We're not in any crazy turbulence or anything, so I'm a little more comfortable with being closer to the overspeed. There's still enough space for if there is some turbulence, we won't overspeed the aircraft. Not really worried about that. So we got the course on both sides, we got the nav frequency on both sides. Now we're going to be looking at minimums. We have 10,000 feet of runway landing distance available to us. Touchdown zone elevation is 823. Airport elevation is 842. Alright, none of the notes apply to us. Missed approach is a climb to... I'm going to have to expand that. I can barely read that. It's climb to 1300 and then a climb to 3000 on heading 301. So runway heading 1300 and then a climb to 3000 on the heading 301. And we follow the MSP 298 radial to Waxib intersection. Go for Vortac, DME and hold. That's a mouthful. Alright. Minimums for the ILS 30 left are 1023, so we're going to put that in our minimums here. And they are barrow, which is good. Now we hold this scroll wheel for quite a while. $10.23, look at that. That worked out very nicely. Alright, last things, we're going to put our approach information there, go to a NITREF index, and we'll go to the approach page. It looks like on a flaps 30 we're 146, which is what we're going to use in this case. So let's go ahead and copy that 30 degrees, flaps 146, and we'll put that down in the flap speed. Excellent, VREF is 146. Alright, so we got VREF, we got our minimums, we got our course set in the autopilot, we got the ILS frequency in our nav radios, and we are descending towards Minneapolis. Alright. We are looking good to go for now. Alright. We'll just leave it as is and monitor as we descend, and then do some more as we get closer. One thing I am going to do now that we are in the descent, the engines are going to go to continuous on the ignition, and we are going to throw on our anti-ice. Lights up, dims, lights up, dims. Cool. That way we're secure all the way down to the ground. did almost forget to set the altimeter. So, the Minneapolis airport, the altimeter is 2984. That's not nearly as low as our departure out of Buffalo, which was 2944. Big difference. Just double checking the winds here. They are 280 at 6 knots, so they're relatively low. Still expecting some wind shear later, but probably in like still a couple hours from now. Nothing too crazy. And we have field clouds at 4,100, temperature -3, so we're looking at pretty basic VFR conditions here. Nothing wild. We'll probably just take ourselves on a visual into the airport. It'll probably be a smooth, very hand-flyable approach, and we will land runway 30 left in Minneapolis. Very weird thing in the VNAV there, so it's not necessarily on this arrival that you can descend to early. It seems like the VNAV profile has you going down to I can't see what waypoint that was, German or something like that, and it's at or above flight level 220, but then it just suddenly stops. It's kind of strange. Alright, below 18,000, altimeter is coming out of standard. We are now 2984. coming up on 10,000 feet, so the landing lights are going to come on, runway turn off lights are going to go on, taxi light we will turn on when we clear ourselves to land. Saw some clouds ahead of us, so we're going to turn on the wing inspection lights just to verify we don't have any ice buildup. I do see some clouds over here. Alright. Again, we're shooting the approach to the ILS 30 left into Minneapolis. Let me see where we are here. Cool. Our aircraft is slowing down below 250 knots, which is good. We know that those 737s don't like to slow down, but you want my brights on? How do I turn my brights on? Tell me. Well, the landing lights are the brights. If you would like to see them, they're all on the outside here. It is dark. Remember that. Oh, you think so? Oh my goodness. Careful, I might have to put you in timeout for spamming. You know I could. Sus kiss Zilly. What does that even mean? Oh no, I didn't know it was gonna do that. Hera Kettler. I don't know. Introduce yourself, GLS KSV. I did not know that timeout was gonna delete all of your messages. That's kind of stupid, not gonna lie. Alright, so we're coming up on 7,000 feet, which is the altitude restriction for Croy right here, and then once we cross over Croy, we're gonna go down to 4,000 and intercept the ILS at 4,000, but we'll most likely tune it to visual. Runway 30 left at Minneapolis. Alright, so now we're going down to 4,000 that we crossed over Croy. We're going to do speed intervention, and we're going to slow down to 210 knots, although it looks like actually the VNAV is doing that for us, so we'll leave that where it is right now. We'll come out of VNAV mode, and we'll go to vertical speed and descend down to 4,000 that way. We'll descend at 1,700 feet per minute. We'll slow down to 210 knots. That speed seems to be running away from us a little bit, so we're going to introduce drag by deploying speed brakes. We're all about having a great time here. Are you an aviation enthusiast in any sort of way? Oh yeah, hit me with it. What question you got? So that was definitely really fast of a descent. We're already at 4,000 and still 7 miles from our waypoint. That's okay. Because we are visual, so we can see that we're clear of obstacles and terrain as well. We're VFR now. Alright, so the glide slope for the ILS is coming in. And it looks like based off of this white diamond right here, so is the localizer as well. So we are getting our ILS displays. Alright, so now that we're getting close to intercepting the localizer, I'm going to slow down to 190 knots. I'm going to deploy flaps 1 to get the slats down. And then once we slow down to 190, I'll go to flaps 5. And we'll reduce the range on our MFD to 10 miles. And we will deploy our flaps depending on our distance from the runway threshold. That's actually a good question. I personally have never played X-Plane Zebo mode. I heard that Zebo mode, or Zebo mod, excuse me, was actually very, very good as far as functionality and all that stuff, and flight physics as well. But, you know, the thing about the Zebo mod is that it's kind of old now, and the flight sim has kind of progressed a lot since that came out. I mean, Zebo has done a lot of updates throughout time, but I feel like they've kind of stopped recently. I would recommend PMDG with the flight sim just because it's more current, it's more accurate. They keep updating it to this day, and because the sim has more capabilities, I feel like just the PMDG in general is going to have more capabilities than the Zebo mod if you were to play X-Plane. Lost track here and kind of went right through the glide slope right there, so we're going visual from here. But yeah, me personally, I would go with PMDG over Zebo. Zebo does have its benefits though, from what I understand. I mean, I don't know if you've ever watched Flight Deck 2 Sim. He's a 737 pilot in the UK in real life, and I've heard nothing but good things to say about the Zebo mod from him, but he also really seems to enjoy the PMDG in the modern day simulator, so. So you're in the aviation sector, huh? Are you doing your flight training, or? Yesterday, and it did not work with X-Plane. I'm going to try PMDG. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. So, I'm not really sure about the Thrustmaster, to be honest with you, because I feel like that should work with all of the sims, to my knowledge. I don't have any Thrustmasters myself. I'm still pretty new to having a full setup, so everything that I have is Logitech. So I've got the basic, you know, setup going on here. Alright, we're looking good on the glide slope here.
1,000.
Okay, we need to get this speed down just a little bit. Flaps 30. Oh, I see what's happening here.
Traffic.
I tried to turn off my auto throttle and that did not work as I thought it did, so my aircraft was trying to maintain that 190 knots. Oops. Just a first officer consoles. Well, that's pretty cool. Are you, so you're currently training on the 737, is that... yeah.
500.
No, that's quite alright.
400.
We're just here for fun.
300. Sink rate. Minimums.
Continue.
Sink rate.
Alright, we're back on glide slope. Our
100.
speed is starting to come down. We're just gonna ride it down.
30. 20. 10.
Nice and buttery. Come on, hold it off. Hold it off. Hold it off. Hey, nice and smooth. Reverse thrust. Got 2 in reverse. I'm gonna do manual braking here. Alright, 80 knots. Reverse thrust is coming out. And we're gonna take the high speed exit to our left side here and taxi towards Terminal 2. Just a regular check. So, if you don't mind me asking, where are you doing your pilot training? Are you in like Australia or somewhere, New Zealand maybe? All right, flaps are coming up. We're gonna turn on our APU so it's ready to go by the time we park at the gate. Taxi lights are coming on. Now we are clear of the runway, so landing lights off, runway turnoffs are coming off. Wing inspections can go off and our nav lights can come on. Strobes are off. Cool. Our flaps are cleaning up, that's good. Speed brake is getting stowed away. Oh, in Turkey, okay. So is your regular check like the equivalent to having like a private pilot's license here in the US? Is that just like where you can fly in a small plane on your own? It's basic flying. It's how you get started. Alright, well, we're going down the taxiway. Yaw damper's going to come off. Our probe heats can come off as well. Engine anti-ice can come off. And we're just going to keep looking, make sure we're going off the taxiway. Cool. Anti-ice is off, so the ignitions can go to off as well. Alright, and our gate is coming up on the left side here. Cool. Looks like we're at gate Hotel 8 today. And I'm going to go in external view just to make sure I can park this thing right. That's kind of fast. Want to stop right on that 737 line right there. Oop, that's a little too early. Get ourselves moving again. Alright, good enough. I'll call that the 737 line right there. We're going to set the parking brake. Cool, parking brake is set. Excellent. The taxi lights will come off so we don't blind the people on the ground. We'll throw our APU gens on. Cool. And the fuel cut off. And we are stopped on the ground, so fasten seatbelt signs can come off. Window heat is all going to come off. Electric hydraulic pumps are coming off. We can go ahead and turn off the beacon as well. We are below 20% N1 power. And, alright, cool. Let's request the jetway. Set some chocks. Get the jetway inbound. Cool, it's coming in. And then once that jetway is attached, we will open the door and allow the passengers to exit the cabin. Shut down checklist. Best part of a flight. Oh, yeah. I'm only going to shut down to a turnaround state and then call it quits. It's pretty late here where I'm at. It's 2:48 a.m. I just happen to have a late schedule, but it's almost time for me to go to bed. So jet bridge is attaching, so we're going to open this door. We'll let the passengers off. And then to get ourselves into a turnaround state, let's just run our flows. Yaw dampers off, everything's in the off position. Fuel pumps all off except for left forward pump. APU gen we're reading, we have positive charge, so that's good. We are on the APU gen power. Fasten seatbelt signs are off, passengers are moving in the cabin. Window heat off, hydraulics are looking good. Cool. Oh yeah, APU bleed can come on, and packs are remaining on auto so they can leave the cabin with a comfortable temperature. Alright. And we're checking up here, everything looks good. We'll throw on the dim dome lights so we can actually see. We'll keep these on nav as we're pretending to be in a turnaround state. And last but not least, our transponder, we'll go ahead and throw that in standby mode. And we are now officially in a turnaround state. Welcome to Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Alright. And I do have the scenery for this airport, so this is handcrafted real-life scenery as well. It looks pretty good. I'm impressed. I really like the way they did the parking garage as well. Alright, so that completes the flight for tonight. Yeah, so as far as the 737, I'm personally going to recommend the PMDG. It is payware, and since it is payware, the developer is currently, working on it as we speak, and Microsoft Flight Simulator is also updating, as time goes on. I would recommend staying with Flight Sim 2020 for now. I'm not sure if you have 2024 or have heard all the news on 2024, but it's a little bit broken. It's got some issues that they're trying to iron out. I'm waiting for the Sim Update 1 to come out personally before I fly 2024 again, but for now, stick with 2020, and then we'll see how 2024 behaves down the road. Yeah, so yeah, that concludes today's flight. Don't know when I'm streaming next. Schedule's pretty busy. I'm trying to get my CFI done yet, CFII done in real life myself, so schedule's kind of tight. Yeah, good. If you don't have 2024 yet, just don't bother until it's actually fixed. I would even give it a couple of months. Some update 1 sounds a little bit promising, but it's I don't know if I'm going to rely on that, to be honest with you. Give it about 3 months until there's another sim update, and then get it, because I'm sure by then it will be good. I'm gonna have hope. Alright. Well, that's gonna be it for today, folks. It's time for me to go to bed. I appreciate you joining in. If you would like to, you can always subscribe and see when I'm streaming next. If you have any ideas that you want to see for a future video, you can let me know that as well. I will gladly take suggestions, as sometimes the idea bin here is very empty. But yeah, that was a pretty good flight. That landing was really good. I forgot to turn my auto throttle off, which led to me being really fast all the way to short final. That could have been bad, but I feel like I recovered it nicely. I landed on time. It was nice and smooth. So good flight, good time. I appreciate everyone who joined today. Hope y'all have a good night. Again, leave suggestions if you have any. Take care. we'll see you next time. See ya!